All right, welcome back. Again, I look a little different because I have lights, and I have no idea if this looks better or worse. So I'm just trying to make better videos. You, the students, deserve better videos than what I've been providing you, because what I've been providing you sucks. Comparatively, right? Because I actually think it's been... I'm not terrible at this. It's just a learning process. Anyways, so the goal of this video is to really talk about creating the third page for AutoCAD. Now, why are we going to the third page? Well, it's because we'll see. I will show you exactly what's meant. So, first of all, let me get out my mouse. Throw it on my desk because that's how I do it. Let's see if I can operate technology. I'm going to switch to my desktop view, so bear with me for a second. Now let's go back and look at the requirements for this course. So the requirements for this course are: your first drawing has to be a general overview. Must show zones, must show a general overhead view. That should pretty much be done. We did designate what zones do what. We did put some dimensions on it. We should be mostly done with that first view. Now we do have some other work to do in the rest of the 6 other pages we need. Yeah, so we got some efforts to put in. But let's talk about number 3. We're going to jump into number 3 and then we'll skip back to number 2. Now, this is the way that the drawing was actually built. It should be 1, 2, 3 here. That is normal. Usually in a drawing set, you start with your drawing set should resemble a timeline. Sometimes you draw the existing site layout. You always start with what the proposed site layout should be. That's what everybody wants to see first. Then you may move to the next page, which is the existing site layout. Then you may need to talk about demolition. Then you may need to talk about soil erosion and then soil erosion control. And then you may need to talk about paving. You may need to talk about what you're going to do to modify landscape, to raise areas up, to lower areas down. And then you get into paving, and then once you've done paving, then you move into actually designing of foundations, and that's kind of the progression that a lot of these drawings go. But they don't always necessarily draw them in that order. Sometimes the details are drawn before the drawing is even started, because you just copied details from a different drawing. And that's acceptable, that's fine, especially if you're dealing with the same standards. You want to follow the same stuff. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing number 3, which is talk about labeled cutouts where our detailed views will be. We need 3 details, 1 for sidewalks, 1 for concrete pads, and 1 for pavement. Okay, so we will go ahead and do that. Detailed callouts will be labeled in circles and will show pavement depth, fill material, and we'll label both materials with hatched sections. Okay, so that's really important for us to keep in mind. I constantly refer back to this document because this is what I told you to do. So I'm going to go back to my AutoCAD drawing. This is where we left off last time. I got drawing 1 finished. We have a nice little draw. We still haven't figured out how many sheet numbers we're going to have. We'll figure that out before our presentations. Right now, the presentations are scheduled for next week. My best guess is that we'll probably be presenting at the soonest in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from now, well, yeah, because next week we actually have Tuesday off. That's a day off, so it may be 2 weeks to potentially even 3 weeks, but hopefully not 3 weeks. We're going to try to get as much done as we can before then. So, okay. It's going to make everything fun to try to figure out, but we'll make it work. All right, so here is our model view. You'll notice this has everything shown. I'm just going to shut off layers for now. Until when I go back to reprint everything, I'm probably going to want to turn on layers again, the zones again, but for right now I don't want it. Okay, I just want to look at this. I got my concrete structures. Now I have 3 different concrete structures. Well, I have this parking lot structure here. I have these over here, which are all just going to be thin paved structures that don't need to be able to handle a car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw detailed views. Now, for detailed views, it's not uncommon for those detailed views to be circles. Okay, why? It's just the way that it is. So I'm actually going to go over here and somewhere I'm going to probably draw a box, and I'm going to put this box in my construction layer. Now the purpose of drawing this box is I don't want this box to print. I don't want this to show up, but I want to be able to visually identify where my detailed views are. So here I'm going to draw a box. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to type T for a multi-line text box, and just inside this line I am then going to type out the title of this. And these are detailed views for page 3 pavement details. Okay, now if I just hit enter, that text will go away. Watch, it's gone. Why? Zooming in, look, there it is. Itty bitty bitty text. This text, if you look at it, is 0.2 inches big. Okay, by comparison, 0.2 inches. Yeah. By comparison, this line here is 60 feet. So I probably actually want this to be possibly 2 feet tall for this text in order for it to be visible in the model view. Okay, now I may not want it to be, but you know, for the most part I actually do want it to be visible. So I'm going to go ahead and make this 24 inches. I'll hit enter. Oh, I should select all my text. Set it to 24 inch. Now it looks gigantic when I click out of it. If I zoom out, I can actually tell that there's text there. From here, it's like, oh, there's a little bit of text here. I could probably make it twice as big, make it readable. Since this is in the construction layer, this isn't text that's going to show up. I just have to make it readable. So I'll make it 4 feet tall. And now I can kind of read it. I definitely know that that's text. Zoom in a little bit, you can read, okay, it's detailed views for page 3 pavement designs. Nice. Now I know that these are going to be where I store all of my pavement details. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here is, if I'm going to keep everything on the same scale, which sometimes is necessary, my detailed views are going to be now on the inch level. I'm going to draw another box, and this time it's going to be much smaller. And in the center of this box, I guess you could keep drawing boxes, just to, it helps redirect the view. In the center of this box, I'm going to create a circle, and I don't want it to be in the construction layer this time. I actually want it to be in boundaries. So create a circle. You know what? Nope. I'm going to draw lines first. So I'm going to draw this line, and then I'm going to offset this line, and I want the distance to be 4 inches. Why? Because I have my detail 1 is going to be my sidewalk. Detail 2 is going to be my concrete pad for my my parking lot. My detail 3 is going to be my concrete pad for my structures. Okay, so this first one is going to be for my I should probably label that, huh? Create a text box down here. just to label it, just to make it a little nicer to find. Now this one, this time, I'm going to make the text height 12 inches, so a lot smaller. It'll show up as a lot bigger than it actually points in. You'll see that. But I'll go ahead and type this in and say, this is Sidewalk. Now it shows up like it's friggin' gigantic compared to the other one, but when I click away, it actually shrinks. AutoCAD has that weird feature. I do not know why. So I got my Sidewalk. And then when I zoom in, I'm going to want an appropriately sized circle, because ultimately I'm going to be zooming in a lot. And that will be necessary. But I got my Sidewalk here. I'm going to create this little sidewalk layer. And offset again. Except for this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify, I'm going to have a fill distance of about 2 inches. Okay, so that's the way my sidewalk looks. I'm going to use crushed limestone for the base, and then I'm going to have a 4-inch concrete pad on top of it. Okay, and that's going to be my sidewalk. That's going to be my sidewalk detail. That's really all I need. I'm going to go ahead, go into this, go back into my 0 layer, and I'm going to draw a circle. I'm going to have that circle centered around this line here. And I want that material to fill most of the circle. So I'm only going to make it be maybe 8 inches. Okay, that way when I zoom in and I look at just the circle shows exactly what I want. I'm going to trim everything else. Zip, zip. Now I just have this weird, I don't know, kind of looks like a cool design. This is right in the center of a box that looks like a pinpoint in my overall drawing. But going into this box, going into that box that's labeled Sidewalk, I know to zoom in on that to see details on my pavement. Okay, I'm going to do some interesting hatches. Okay, for my hatch, first thing I'm going to do is go into Settings, select my settings. I'm going to pick a pavement-like material for this, but first I'm going to pick my sand. I'll add pick points. I have my fill down here. Now actually the setting that it's set at right now is nice. I'm going to hit T, go back into my settings, but I actually kind of do want it to be maybe 2 or 3 times bigger. Or actually smaller. I'll hit 0.5. I'll look at my preview. It just makes it a little bit more dense. And then this says right here, right click to accept hatch. So I click right click, it accepts it. It's now an object. I hit escape to get out of hatch settings, which it probably could have just kept going, but I like actually exiting the commands because I'm kind of old school like that. Hit T, I'm going to define the hatch now for what's going to be the pavement. I guess I could use gravel, but I don't like the look of gravel. Gravel doesn't look like pavement. Which one would be best? Earth is fun. Dolomite. It's nice. Brick, brass. Shake. Oh, there's AR concrete. Okay, I'm going to leave it at a scale of 0.5. I'll pick points. I'll go down here and I'll just select that. You'll notice that if I hit T, go back into T, it's still at a setting of 0.5 scale. It looks nice. You get to see all these triangles in there. There is a distinct difference between the two materials. I will go ahead and hit OK. So this is my circle that's going to define my sidewalk. And all it says is I have a 2-inch fill of sand material and a 4-inch fill of Portland cement. That's it. That's all I need to draw on this side. When I actually create the page, I'll have to detail that out. And I'll show you that. But now I'm going to do this 2 more times. I'll just copy this box. Oh, I'm going to copy this box and the label. I'll move it from this piece here, move it over here. Since I need 3 of them, because you are required to have 3, one of them will be labeled sidewalk, one of them will be labeled parking lot, and one of them will be labeled with concrete pad. Okay, so now I have my 3 labels. I only have 1 circle. But I'm going to go ahead and do this again. I'm drawing this in the 0 layer. Because I'm not drawing on the general drawing, I can get away with not exactly drawing in my pavement layer. This is all I want to show up on the drawing. If you really want to do layers here, that's fine. It's always acceptable to do more layers than less. I am just choosing to do that because it's easier on me if I don't have to change layers. So here, and what I'm going to have for my parking lot, I'm just going to draw a line, enter, offset. Here, the offset distance is, we're going with a 7-inch concrete lay, so I'll type 7, click on this, go down, enter, offset again, specify the distance. I want a 2-inch fill underneath that of crushed limestone, enter, done. I'll create a circle around this, just like I did last time. This time I want the circle to be about like, you know, maybe I make it 10 inches this time in radius. It's not exactly centered, so I'm going to move this a little bit up. About right there, so it's nice and centered in here. Go in, trim, enter. And now I just go back in here and hatch. It's already saved my hatch from last time, so I just have to hit enter. Just click and it does it. Now this one, I have to go into settings and I have to change this to sand, which isn't too hard. And then I'll pick points, click in here. T, no, I did not pick sand. That was not sand. Okay, there we go. And now I have a sand base on a cement top, and it's at the correct dimension. And I'll go over here to my concrete pad. Now for my concrete pad, I'm actually just going to use the same concrete lay as for my sidewalks. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this over in the center here, and I'm done. No more work needed. Now for here, I'll go down here, right click, go to new, from template, and create a new layout drawing for this. I'll select the AutoCAD template, I'll open it up, and sheet. Go in here, first thing I'm going to do is rename it, and this is going to be 3 dash pavement details. Okay. The first thing you got to do when you jump into a new drawing, now that I have redefined this, is I'm going to go ahead and double click in here and I'm going to change the names here. Now again, I have an issue with mine where I am not allowed to put in class name because for some reason it does that for me. But I'm going to go ahead and call this pavement details. This is not in inches, this is in architectural units. The scale here is going to be 1 to 1 inch to 100 feet again. This is drawn by me. And this is page 3. Okay, so I'll hit OK, and now I have all of that done. I'll go into my viewport, click a rectangular view, drag from this top corner down to this bottom corner. I'm going to hit escape. The viewport I just put in is, I'm going to put it in the viewport layer, just because I'm a stickler like that. I like being able to see the edges of my viewport. Nice. So that's fun. I'm going to need to specify 3 locations on my pavement to do the callouts. And And what I'm going to end up doing on my model tab is I'm going to have one labeled. I'll go ahead and draw this down here. Nope. I'll do it on the actual drawing. My bad. But I'm going to have one labeled AA, BB, and CC. And I'm going to go ahead and draw those on the drawing, and then I will have them correspond here. Oh. Now I'm going to jump into model space, zoom in on this drawing that I have, and I'm going to specifically zoom in so that this is large enough so that I can actually see it. Okay, you may want to use a zoom window, you may want to use a lot of things. Once this is in a place where I can see it, I'm actually going to click out, and I'm going to shrink this down. Now that does violate my scale, I'm aware, but you know what, I don't care. The scale, because we're going to be I'm just going to change that now to as dimensions, because then that means don't follow the scale, don't measure this with a tape measure or ruler, don't get that out to try to figure out details. It's going to be as dimensioned. So I'm not going to draw dimensions. Okay. Escape. Try again. U to U is 2 inches. And then dimension U to U. I'll drag it out because I want it to be 4 inches. You'll notice my text isn't exactly in the happiest of places. When I click on that, I am able to move this to a different location, which is what I will do. Now I can take this and combine these arrows. So the arrows are on top of each other. Just makes it look cleaner. So now it's got 4 inches and 2 inches. Okay, awesome. I'll throw both of these into my dimensions layer. I click them, go into dimensions, make them blue. Good to go there. Okay, now I'm going to go into my notes layer, and I'm going to make a text note. Underneath this, I'll move it into place later, and it's going to be called section A to A. Okay, move it into place, done. Nice. So I got my dimensions, I got my section A to A, and I'm actually going to click on this, enter sidewalk. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to center align this, just make it look nice, because I like them center aligned. When you have multi-line text, it's important to make sure that your alignment is pretty. And there we go. I go ahead and take all these. I don't want the dimensions, but take these, copy them, move them from here over, and one last one. And that nicely fit in the page, completely by accident. Might bring in these dimensions a little bit just because we have so much. We're trying to do small space. Don't want it to overlap. So brought on my dimensions. Dimensions will be a little bit cleaner here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I have 3 different viewports. I'll click on this one, double click. Now I'm in the model view here. Just zoom out, slide over. I want this to be about the same size. Probably shouldn't have zoomed out. Yep. Double click, get a model view, and then I'm just going to pan over. Probably should have put these a lot closer together. In hindsight, that would have been a good idea. Really easy to put them all spaced apart. You know what, I am going to do this. Get out of model space. You. Going into model space, you don't need to be that gigantic. Neither do you. Move it over here. I should have moved this one also, but hindsight 2020. Cruel joke in 2021. I'm gonna go ahead and put the parking lot. I'm just gonna put it down here so that you can see it, because that'll allow me to move in my concrete pad. Move, and I just need to be close. So there we go, all three of my dimensions all in one. Now I'm going to go down here, I double click in my model space, and I pan over. I keep the same zoom settings. Section pavement's a little bigger, but I'll just accommodate. Make sure it's about in the center of my viewport, and then here, honestly, I don't even need to, because I put the dimensions on here, I don't even need to go over and choose the other one. I can just show this one again because these two are identical. So I will. I'll go ahead and dimension both of these though. One from here to here, I would make sure to drag downward so it shows up as 7 inches. Wants to be from here to here, locate at the same place. Go back dimension. There to there. Drag it over. I'll move this out of the way right now. Oh, that's not so pretty. I may need to move this over. It fits inside my page. So I will do that. Go ahead and extend these dimension lines out so that they're a little bit more visible. And then I'll put in my last dimension line. Have my arrows line up on top of each other. Make sure to select these and change that to my dimensions layer so that they're nice and blue. Okay, I'll change these. This is going to be section B to B, which is my parking lot. And then this is going to be section C to C, which is going to be my concrete pad. Okay, so now I have all these, they're dimensioned, they show exactly what the cross section is. Now I have to create a legend. What does this mean? So for my legend, well, I can just do something very simple. I'll go in here, I'm going to also create a viewports thing, but this time it's not going to actually be a viewport. Very similar to what I did for dimension 1, is I'm just going to create some rectangles. In here, I got 2 rectangles. CO from here to here. Now last time I just zoomed in on it, which I can do. I mean, don't get me wrong. This time I'm actually just going to hatch it. Go into T. You notice my hatch settings are still the same. I'm in the wrong layer, but if I go in and pick points, click here, nothing really shows up. So I'm going to hit T again, and I'm going to make the scale a little bit smaller. I'm going to go to 0.1. You can kind of see it. Now the big issue that happens here is that's in the wrong layer. I need to change this out of viewports. I'm just going to put it in 0. And now you can kind of see it. And it does look about the same texture as that. Switch my general into 0 too. Do hatch again. Okay, I'll hit T. I'm already at 0.1, which it worked well. So I'll just switch this to AR conc. Pick a point. Select this point here. And I will hit enter. Okay, and now these triangles are about the same size as that, so I have 2 different ones. And there we go. I have sand material and I have a concrete material. These boxes, they're going to be a little bit different to tell where the boundary is between them, just because they're similar material looks. So I'm going to actually change that back to 0 so you can see the boxes distinctly. Now I'm going to change to notes. And in my notes, I'll type T for text. I'll go up here and I'm just going to drag it over. And this will be Portland cement. And I'll do another text box down here, drag it over, and this will be crushed limestone. Okay, now they're both butt up against the blocks, so I'm just going to quickly move them. And when I move them, what I tend to do is I tend to move them over by 0.1 and then down by 0.1. So negative 0.1, 0.1 comma negative 0.1. And it just centers it a little bit more, makes it look a little nicer. So now I have all of these details laid out. I'm actually going to create a section of notes here. All of this text is gigantic. I don't like it. I'm going to reduce the size by a factor of 2. It's too big. There we go. So I'm going to create some notes. Okay, create your notes basically are just creating a text box. Text box can go anywhere. I got some open space right here, so I'll go ahead and use it. First thing I'm going to do is make sure my text size is right. Okay, now it's always best to start your notes with a disclaimer stating that this is notes. Okay, number your notes. If you number your notes, it makes them a little bit easier to read. Okay, note number 1. All Portland cement must comply with city cement standards. I'm not going to look that up right now, but that's what you would have to do. All cement, nope. For each structure, 2 inches of crushed limestone is laid on top of compacted earth. 3, pavement depths are specified based on structure. Okay, so just some simple notes. You could type more notes if you really want to. Talk about special ways you need to prepare the concrete. You need to talk about special ways you need to prepare Portland cement. You're going to talk about how the limestone, crushed limestone, maybe you need to tamp it before. Whatever the case, those would all be appropriate things to put in the notes. Now I don't need to put it in the notes. I like these notes as is, and this is a very nice looking, very clean looking page that says everything you need to know about the depths of the concrete. Where they're located is on a different drawing. Actually, on drawing 2, we're gonna go in here. We're gonna pull out some different cores here. We're gonna talk about what each of these are. We'll do that in the next video, though. I won't be posting the next video today. I will be posting the next video tomorrow. But get the pavement details done.